Welcome, friends, to English Passage, your peaceful corner of the internet where English is not just studied, but lived and felt. Every sound, every sentence, every small grammar rule is turned into a gentle, meaningful story that speaks to your mind and your heart. If you've been with us on this journey, you know that we are not rushing through grammar. We are slowing it down. We are listening to the language, not just analyzing it. We are building a world where English feels natural, beautiful, and understandable, step by step. Today is day 9, and today's topic is one that truly shapes how English is spoken every single day. It may look small, but it holds great power. Today, we will understand deeply and clearly how to use he, she, and it in the present simple tense, and why those tiny changes in verbs matter so much. Let's begin this soft, thoughtful journey into English grammar together. Part 1. Why grammar needs balance. The logic of subject-verb agreement. Let us begin with a deep and reflective question. Why does grammar exist? Grammar is the invisible thread that holds all language together. It's not about rules for the sake of control, it's about structure for the sake of understanding. It allows ideas to be shared, thoughts to be shaped, and meaning to be carried clearly from one mind to another. One of the most essential parts of grammar in English is the relationship between the subject, who is doing something, and the verb, what they are doing. When these two elements fit together well, the sentence feels natural and complete. When they do not, the sentence feels broken or confusing. This fit is what we call subject-verb agreement. Let's say, I eat. The subject is I and the verb is eat. They agree. The form matches. But if we change the subject to she, we cannot say she eat. That would sound awkward and incorrect. Instead, we say, she eats. One small letter, an S, creates the harmony that makes the sentence smooth and clear. This is the beauty of grammar. It may be quiet, but it speaks volumes. Part 2. What present simple really means. A deeper look into habits, routines, and universal truths. The present simple tense is more than a tense. It is a window into how we describe stable actions. It allows us to talk about activities that are part of a routine, events that repeat with time, and facts that remain unchanged across seasons and circumstances. When you use the present simple, you are not just talking about an event. You are describing a behavioral pattern. You are giving your listener a sense of what usually happens. And that is why this tense is often used when giving information about someone's lifestyle, job, or personality. Consider this carefully. The present simple is used for timeless truths. That's why we say the sun rises in the east or water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. These truths do not depend on the moment. They are reliable. In the same way, when we say she wakes up early, we are saying this is her habit. It is something that forms part of her daily story, not just today, but most days. This is why understanding the present simple is essential. It shows what is normal, expected, or usual in someone's life. Let's take a few examples to reinforce this. I eat breakfast at 7 a.m. He eats breakfast at 7 a.m. You walk to school every day. She walks to school every day. They play the guitar. It plays soft music in the background. Notice the pattern. With he, she, or it, the verb gains an S.
Part 3. Understanding third person singular. Identifying who requires the verb to change. When we speak about people and things in English, we have to understand who the subject is, because the subject determines the form of the verb. Now, Let's focus on what we call the third person singular. This grammatical category includes the pronouns he, she, and it. We use these when we are speaking about one person or one thing that is not the speaker and not the listener. He is used for one male person. She is used for one female person. It is used for a thing, a place, or even an animal, especially when gender is not important. These pronouns, though simple, carry an important grammatical demand. They require the verb in the present simple to change form, to become marked with an S or sometimes an S. Why is this important? Because it creates a clear link between the subject and the action. The sound of the verb form tells us who we are talking about, even if the subject is far away in the sentence. This is especially important in English, where word order plays a big role in sentence structure. The verb must respond to the subject clearly. Let's apply this understanding to a few sentences. I read books. He reads books. We drink tea. She drinks tea. You fix your bike. It fixes itself sometimes. Here, the third person singular, he, she, or it, alters the verb slightly, and that change helps define the subject more clearly.
Part 4. The small change that matters. Why the verb changes for he, she, it in present simple. Here lies one of the most delicate and yet important features of English grammar. The verb shift in third person singular. When we use he, she, or it in a present simple sentence, the verb must morph slightly. Usually, this change means adding an S to the verb, and this small addition carries an enormous role. This is what makes the sentence feel correct, complete, and native. It shows that the speaker understands the subject and the verb must move together. Why does the verb change here and nowhere else in the present tense? Linguistically, it is a holdover from older forms of English and other languages where verbs change depending on the speaker. But in modern English, only this form, third person singular, still carries the mark of subject-verb adjustment. This is also why it becomes so noticeable when it's missing.
Part 5. When the verb needs ES, a natural extension of sound and spelling rules. As we move further into this topic, we begin to notice that not all verbs simply take an S. Some verbs require an S. This change is not a matter of choice. It is governed by sound, ease of pronunciation, and visual clarity. Let's understand why. When a verb ends in certain hissing or buzzing sounds, like sh, ch, s, x, or o, simply adding an s makes the word harder to say. The sound becomes too compressed. To fix this, English adds s instead. This makes the word flow better. It softens the sound. It respects the natural rhythm of speech. This is an example of how spelling, sound, and pronunciation all work together in English. The change to S is a phonetic adjustment, not just a visual one. Similarly, for verbs ending in a consonant plus Y, we change the Y to I and then add S. This keeps the spelling consistent and clean, and avoids awkward letter combinations. So, what we learn is this. Even the spelling rules in English are based on logic and flow. They're not trying to confuse. They're trying to make speech easier and smoother for everyone. Here are some helpful examples. I go to the market. He goes to the market. You watch TV. She watches TV. We wash clothes. It washes the floor. They kiss the baby. He kisses the baby on the forehead. Also, I study hard. She studies hard. You try often. He tries every time.
Part 6. Listening to the language. Immersing yourself in a present simple story. We now return to one of the most powerful ways to internalize grammar through storytelling. By listening to language in action, our minds begin to recognize patterns without even trying. Let's hear a story. A story full of habits, full of present simple grammar, full of life. Rami is a young boy. Every morning, he opens his eyes before the sun rises. He listens to the silence. He stretches, slowly, and stands beside his bed. This is how he starts his day, every day. In another room, his sister Amina is already awake. She is always the first to rise. She makes breakfast with care. She boils water. She toasts bread. She pours warm tea into a clay cup. The room fills with a peaceful rhythm. Their dog, Babu, sits quietly on the rug. It watches. It waits. It knows the family's morning well. These actions, they are not one-time events. They are habits. They are part of life. They live in the present simple. And so, in this simple tale, you have heard the music of grammar. He listens. She pours. It waits. This is the present simple. Quiet, clear, and completely alive. Practice sentences from the story. He opens his eyes early. She makes breakfast. It watches the family. He drinks tea. She washes the cups. It waits patiently.
And now, dear learner, you understand one of the most foundational ideas in English, how to use he, she, and it in present simple sentences. You've gone beyond memorization. You've stepped into a deeper understanding of why English works the way it does. You now know that subject and verb must agree, not just in form, but in meaning, in flow, in sound. At English Passage, we believe learning happens best when it is connected to story, to sound, and to imagination. So listen again. Let today's grammar sink in through your ears and settle in your thoughts. You are not just learning English, you are living it, sentence by sentence, sound by sound. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to English Passage, and comment. I now understand he, she, it. Thank you for your time, your focus, and your ears. Until next time, keep listening, keep growing, and keep loving English. This is English Passage, where every grammar rule becomes a story. Jai Hind. Vande Matram.